Hello and welcome to Opportunity Homes San Antonio's regular board meeting. Please note this meeting will be recorded in its entirety. Roll call will now commence. Chair Gabriel Lopez.
Here.
Vice Chair Gilbert Casillas.
Here.
Barbara Uncoma Burford.
Here.
Dalia Contreras. Estrellita Garcia Diaz.
Here.
Janet Garcia. Leela Powell. Doug Ponick, Board of Commissioners Attorney.
I'm here.
President and CEO Michael Reyes.
Here.
Additionally, we have an interpreter at the back of the room should you need their support. The time is 1:03 p.m. You may call the meeting to order.
Thank you. The Board of Commissioners or its committee may hold a closed meeting pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.071-076 for consultation concerning attorney-client matters, real estate, litigation, personnel, and security matters. The board or committee reserves the right to enter into closed meeting at any time during the course of the meeting. We'll go to the first order. Citizens to be heard.
Mr. Chair, we have a citizen to speak, but he's not here yet, so I'm not sure how you want to handle that. Want to push that, or
How about the second person?
second person?
Oh, they're with staff right now? Okay. Yeah, we'll I was going to say, why don't we table that at this point, and then we'll go ahead and go to the item number 3. We'll bring it back when they're done speaking to staff. Item number 3, public hearing regarding Resolution 6798, Amada Amendment. Lorraine Robles, Chief Real Estate and Development Officer. Lorraine, you're up.
Good afternoon. We'd like to open a public hearing for the Amada agenda item number 10. If anyone here would like to speak on this topic, please let us know. Seeing as there's no one, then we'll go ahead and close the public hearing.
Okay, great. We'll check that. We have minutes. The approval of the June 18th, 2025 regular board meeting minutes and the approval of the July 15th, 2025 special board meeting minutes. If there are no...
I move for approval of the minutes for June 18th and July 15th.
Second.
We have a first and a second for approval of the minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes are approved. We'll go ahead and go into the individual items until they come in. Item number 5, consideration and approval regarding Resolution 6800, ratification of the Opportunity Home San Antonio 457B plan. Jenny Rodriguez, Interim Director of Human Resources.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. And the resolution and amendment before you is to ratify the Opportunity Home Deferred Compensation 457B plan. The plan was restated in October 2024 and again on March 2025. And I'm going to walk you through this presentation with this information. So the plan is one of 2 retirement programs we offer to our employees. I have a brief presentation to provide additional details. This is a voluntary plan. Employees can contribute pre-tax money as a deduction from their paycheck. The plan does not have an employer match. It's only what the employee sets aside, but it's invested in the stock market. And the reason, the push and recommendation by HR for employees to participate in the plan is with regards to diversifying plans for retirement, and also because it has a loan provision. Employees can borrow from themselves for hardships, and they pay themselves back. So it's a huge selling point for this particular plan. We conducted an RFP. We had 6 submissions and evaluated all 6, including the incumbent, which was Mission Square. Ultimately, we chose Empower for the various features that are noted on the presentation. They offered comparable fees and funds. They had an extended Roth option. Roth is a post-tax fund. The transition was going to address any regulatory updates, such as CARES Act, such as Secure Act 2.0. They also had a website whose features were enhanced from the website we had access to previously. They also have a lot of enhanced communication. They send out to our employees directly, either weekly or biweekly communication about the plan, the features, and all the different options. So the participant levels on the next slide, please. You can see the participant levels have increased slightly. And so with Mission Square, we had 186 total participants, and with the current plan, we have 204. And so when employees depart, they can leave their monies there because they're still gaining funds, and so they're not active, they're not putting any more contributions, but several employees have chosen to just leave monies there even as they separate. And then employees can pause their plans if they're out on leave or they have any reason to stop the deductions temporarily. And so I also want to cover the process and timeline for bringing this request for ratification. The plan parameters allow for us to come forward after we've done the RFP, the evaluation, and the implementation. The blackout periods and notifications and disclosures in place, we launched with Empower on October 17th, 2024. Shortly thereafter, we discovered an error in the form and in the plan documents. We did not intend for the 457B to be deducted in the event of a discretionary bonus. So we had to work through another plan amendment, work through our pension attorney to make sure that this was adjusted and revised. And so that took us through March to complete that amendment regarding that error. And then after that, we were notified of a bank change that affected Empower. So that internal process change is internal to Empower. This was a change that didn't affect our participants. But in essence, Empower's bank was keeping excess interest after applying interest toward maintenance fees. The changes in process is now allowing for Empower to retain that excess interest and allows Empower to reinvest the money into research and services. So that's the activity that happened in late April, and we just needed to research and determine if this required another amendment on our part, and it did not. It required disclosure on Empower's part. And then the other item is that in May of 2025, at the time that we moved over from Mission Square to Empower, Mission Square was able to keep one fund, the Plus Fund, in their portfolio. They can keep it for 12 months from the point in time that we notify them that we are considering moving providers. So they alerted us to a target date of mid-July for that Plus Fund monies to come over entirely 100% to Empower. And that did happen. On July 17th, the Plus Fund was liquidated, and those monies were placed back into our participant accounts. So at this point, I can take any questions, any comments that the board may have.
I don't think we do. I just had a curiosity because you had mentioned it on the 457B, like on their loan plans, and I only say this because of my other employer. They, the employees are allowed to pay off early or make additional contributions towards principal. Does their plan allow it?
It does. So they can also pay it in full.
Pay in full early or
Yes.
or make additional payments as
Yes,
necessary?
sir. They do allow that for the loan provisions. Any other questions? No. Thank you.
No other questions. I'll take a motion on item number 5.
Make a motion to approve Resolution 6800.
We have a first. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? It carries. Item 6, consideration and approval regarding Resolution 6794, authorizing the revision of resident paid utility allowances. Ruth Batista, Director of Public Housing. I see. I'll do it at the end. Excuse me real quick. To our residents that will be speaking, we will take you after item 11. Go ahead, sorry.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Today, we will be presenting the 2025 Public Housing Utility Allowance. Residential electricity rates, HUD requires utility allowances to be revised annually to reflect the new utility consumption levels. So Group 14 is the company contracted to complete the annual utility consumption analysis. So we have worked with company or Group 14 engineering for over 10 years, and we continue to provide expert guidance on sustainability and energy conservation efforts in public housing. So Group 14 is a company that was contracted to complete the annual utility consumption analysis and updated utility allowance amounts for all resident paid utilities. HUD requires a component of the revised utility allowance to ensure tenants are not overburdened by their utility cost. So utility allowance is deducted from the tenant rent, which is determined based on the income reported on the 558 and adjusted based on HUD's income inclusions. So therefore, if the rent is less than the utility allowance, the difference is called utility reimbursement, and this is what's paid directly to the family. Residential electricity rates for CPS have increased across San Antonio since last year and this year. And on average, the electricity rate have increased for all electric households 14.5%, and households with gas and electric, it has increased 2%. The water and sewage rates have also increased 2.3%. Group 14 Engineering calculated utility allowances for 4,953 Opportunity Home public housing units. The utility allowance values have changed solely because of rate adjustments from CPS for electricity, gas, water, and sewage services. These rate changes also impacted our resident utility bills. So Group 14 analysis showed that 2,492 units will have an increased utility allowance. 2,461 units will actually have a decreased utility allowance. What was interesting is that from the 4,953 units that were involved, 277 units have resident paid utilities for all four, for electric, gas, water, and sewage. What they found was that the highest utility allowance increase was $48. So for these 277 families, a special interim reexam will be processed for all four resident paid utilities. What was also uncovered was that the maximum decrease was only $6. There is a financial impact, which is a benefit both for the residents and for the organization. The annual financial value of the EPC resident paid utility savings from last year was $699,559. This subsidy also generated $185,000 in excess savings above and beyond the EPC program. Those utility savings were available to cover the EPC debt service, replacement equipment reserve, and the HUD required third-party measurement and verification. Lastly, we come to notifying the residents. So if a resident's utility rate or allowance changes, the updates will be processed during their next recertification, and they will receive a rent change notice. So Opportunity Home were required to send a 60-day advance notice of utility allowance updates to all residents prior to the implementation, and of course, once the board approves. In addition to that, a copy of the updated utility allowance schedule is also available upon request. Commissioners, do you have any questions? I'm available. We also have Michael Lopez here with us from our Sustainability with Construction Services.
Ruth, so you say at the next recertification, let's say they just recertified before this is approved, They don't get recertified again for 2 or 3 years. So they have to wait to get that savings for 3 years.
If they're not part, the plan is if they're not part of the 277 households that had the increased utility allowance up to $48, those are the ones we're going to focus on. And those that received, like you said, within the next 2 or 3 years, yes, they would have to wait. Now, we do have it posted if we want to, when we have gone through this in the past, it's not been very common where we process the actual change at that time or when the notice is given. We'll wait for the next annual recertification. In the past, we used to process these rate certifications when we had annual recerts, and then they moved to biannual, and now we have them at triannual.
So why can't their rent be adjusted when it happens? Why would they have to wait? Remember, some of these residents, that $10, $15, $20 could make the difference on, a few meals or stuff.
You are correct, and I can understand that, yes. And we can take that back, Commissioner, and we can explore that if the board wants us to move to make those changes for the 4,500 families, we could.
Thank you.
Any other questions? With none, I'll take a motion for Resolution 6794.
So moved.
First, do we have a second?
Second.
So, Michael, with that, there's some questions with regards to the credits for those that are on the recertification. So we'll clear it, but we want that to be looked at because residents to be taken care of. Okay, with that being said, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Item number 6 is carried. Item 7, consideration and approval regarding Resolution 6700, award of master services agreement for the Solar for All Phase 2 Master Solar Developer Project. Hector Martinez, Senior Director, Construction. You're up, Hector.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon, Commissioners. This is a request to enter into an agreement with Big Sun Solar to implement the Solar for All grant, to execute a master services agreement to execute the grant. This is going to be a master services agreement that allows us to issue project-specific work releases. It's a strategy we've implemented before on the construction of single-family houses where we release work in limited capacity in order to mitigate exposure to the agency. A little bit of history on the Solar for All. So it was announced in April of 2024 on Earth Day that the EPA was awarding a $7 billion greenhouse reduction fund, of which the Solar for All is part of. We came to the board in September 2023 for a resolution supporting Opportunity Homes application to be a recipient of the Solar for All, to be part of the Texas Coalition. In September 2024, the board approved executing an agreement, an interlocal agreement between Opportunity Home and Harris County, who is the lead agency for the Texas Coalition, of which we are a part. And then we executed an agreement with Big Sun Solar to develop the plan and submit the plan to the EPA for approval and we were notified that we were awarded $24 million for the Solar for All grant. So we're coming to you today to execute an agreement to implement the plan. It's a 1+4 contract, allowing us to renew the contract annually up to 5 years. I have Jason Pittman, president of Big Sun Solar, here with me, representing his company. We've brought it to you before, but just as a refresher, Solar for All, the $24 million grant we received, I want to highlight four benefits that we think are tremendous, a great opportunity for this agency and for the city. So the chief benefit is going to be to our residents. We are going to have a goal of reduction of their utilities because we're going to be implementing solar around San Antonio. We have CPS's support for implementing this grant with community solar ground-mounted areas. We're going to have roof space that we can utilize. And so the key impact is going to be a reduction to the resident-paid utilities. Also, there's the overall benefit to the climate and to the grid. I think this is going to tremendously impact our consumption as an agency across the city. It'll provide tremendous relief to the grid because of the solar impact we're going to be creating. Also, this program is a major revenue provider for the agency for many years, every year. There's another benefit here of the workforce development. This grant is going to provide to the city of being able to provide training and job opportunities that are going to be well-paying. It's going to have a bright future for many years. So there's a lot of great things within this grant. The reason we're doing a master services agreement is it allows us to release work in smaller portions because there's some speculation that the federal government may try to rescind these funds. And so we're just trying to minimize our exposure for everybody. So this will allow us to very carefully release work to Big Sun Solar for the execution. In the event that the federal government tries to rescind the funds, I can tell you that Harris County, as the lead agency, is preparing to fight back, to fight for our funds, to keep them for us so that they don't get taken back. So we're preparing a response with Harris County at the moment. But I would like to open it up for questions.
What's the total duration for start to finish on the panels?
It's a 5-year implementation, which...
So I guess in the spirit of, at least for the next couple of years, while this administration may exercise their right to pool, is there any way to expedite construction?
That's why we're here today.
Okay, so that's what this would be for. Okay, good.
We want to get this contract executed and get going so we can secure our funds. Harris County informed us recently that we would be able to receive the funds and put them in escrow to secure them. So we're not there yet, but I think the best thing we can do to secure our funds is to start the project. Yes.
Okay. So again, if we had the full funds sitting in our account, and you guys can run on all horses, how quickly could you have it up and running?
I'll let Jason answer that.
Okay. We're not going to hold you to it, but
Hello, everyone.
It's a good idea.
It's nice to see you again. There's really 3 critical factors to the schedule. The first one is the collaboration with CPS that Hector mentioned earlier. You're currently negotiating a power purchase agreement, so a rate that CPS is going to buy all of that energy from. That revenue is then going to be shared back with your residents. So that's one. So we need to get that finished. That only covers approximately half of the capacity that we're going to install. The second critical factor is Group 14 is going to submit an application to HUD about the rate. It's called a rate reduction incentive, and that allows. My understanding of the program, and I'm no expert, that allows Opportunity Home to share the savings with your residents. Mm-hmm. And so that needs to happen. That's only covering probably maybe a quarter to a third of the properties. And then the remaining properties are what we call behind the meter. This location is one of the candidates. And so rooftop solar and also solar carport structures in your parking lot. Those are one of the first projects we're going to build because there's nothing blocking us from starting now. It fits perfectly into one of CPS's existing solar programs. We think that we can build everything in 3 years, and that will give us enough time for the application to HUD. It also gives us, or gives Opportunity Home enough time to negotiate that rate with CPS. While we're waiting for that, we'll start construction on the other buildings. So kind of long answer, I think it's 3 years.
3 years. Okay.
There's also potential, Jason, if you want to talk about tax credits.
That's right. The Inflation Reduction Act, it allows nonprofits to submit applications for tax credits. Before, only those tax credits were only available for tax-paying entities, so for-profit companies. But now they've created a new category called direct pay. It's the exact same amount. They issue a check to nonprofits, municipalities, other organizations. That funding is usually on kind of a 12 to 16-month lag. So the projects that we build this year, you should receive the direct pay tax credits next year. And the idea, at least the work plan that we submitted to the EPA, is that as those direct pay tax credits come in, Opportunity Home would leverage them to install more capacity and then provide more savings to your residents. The city of San Antonio is going through that direct pay process right now on another project that we have with them. And everything that they've told us is that there hasn't been any roadblocks or any critical issues in the process.
The savings that we make on this project, you talked about that part of it will go towards the reduction of, or the residents having more of a reduced on their utility bills. Any other revenues that are made off of this, where would it go within the organization? Or what would it be used for?
These would be revenues yearly, up to 30 years. Is that correct? Up to 30 years. I don't want to overpromise dollar amounts, but it could be significant.
Right, but where would it be?
These, as far as I know, these are unrestricted funds.
So it could be used wherever it's needed?
Yes. Okay. I have a lot of numbers that I'm hesitant to share because the project may go away, but if we're able to implement it in full, I can't wait to share with you the benefits that we're going to receive for this.
For the resident perspective, so do we have a projection of like the reduction of CPS, like the impact that it will be on the residents? And so if the rate reduction application doesn't go through, how will this affect our residents? Is there going to be, like, if it weren't to go through, as far as it affecting, because obviously we know our tenants, in order for them to stay in their homes and avoid an eviction, they must always pay their CPS bill. And so if that rate reduction HUD doesn't go through, do we have another plan?
Well, this project, the goal is a 20% reduction in resident paid utilities. And I want to add one more benefit that I didn't mention before is the $24 million we received includes over $900,000 for administration and staffing. So we would be able to accomplish a reduction in utility bills, tremendous less impact to the environment and to the grid, increasing revenues yearly for decades, and workforce development, and we will have achieved all of that at zero cost to the agency.
Any other questions? Go ahead, Mike.
Mr. Chair, if I can just add, based on our understanding, the funding is sitting there, much like the ELOC system that we use for HUD to access public housing and voucher funding. So the money's ready to go. With your approval, with the board's approval, we can get going tomorrow morning. So we're hoping you support the resolution.
Mm-hmm.
And our plan is to regularly report back to the board how the projects are going.
Don't talk yourself out of the deal. I think we're on board. Any other questions from the board? If none, I'll take a motion.
I move for approval for resolution 6700.
We have a first. We have a second.
Second.
We have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? It is approved.
Thank you, sir.
Please note Commissioner Garcia and time is she arrived. Item number 8, consideration approval regarding resolution 6797, award of a contract for Cottage Creek Apartments, Phase 2, Building 15. Hector Martinez, you're still up.
Yes, this is a request to execute an agreement with Geofill General Contractors for the demolition and re-pour of a concrete slab foundation for one building at Cottage Creek. So the building caught fire. It was deemed a total loss. After the structure was demolished, the foundation was left, and we hired a professional engineering firm to assess the foundation. Once the building was cleared, it was projected at the time that we would be able to salvage the foundation and build on top of it. Once we got into construction, and you can see on one of the pictures there on the right side, where we actually got into the foundation, we're chipping concrete, trying to repair the post-tension slab tendons embedded within this concrete structure, which gives it the foundation strength. It was determined that it was, after all, irreparable. And so the engineer wrote us a letter recommending that it be demolished and re-poured. So we approached the contractor that has the contract for the rebuild of this building to take that work on a separate contract, because it would have eaten up the entirety of our contract contingency. So this allows us to maintain all of the construction under a single warranty, provide a seamless transition for the contractor to do the foundation, and rebuild, immediately start rebuilding the structure. And so we come to you today for your approval for this agreement.
In terms of the building, the design and everything will be identical to what was in place, or then match the other buildings?
Yes, sir. It'll be identical.
Okay. It'll be updated, obviously, but.
Yes, sir. There are insurance proceeds that we received on the original claim that are absorbing a significant amount of the construction, although we are having to contribute out of reserves. And I was told that the claim was, we got back the maximum amount we could from the claim.
Okay. Any questions? With none, I'll take a motion on item number 8.
So moved.
We have a first. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Resolution 6797 is approved.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Item 9, consideration approval regarding Resolution 6755, Central at Commerce transaction. Lorraine Robles, Chief Real Estate Development Officer. You're it, Lorraine.
Good afternoon. I'm bringing to you Central at Commerce. You may remember this one. It's a 4% bond deal. So we originally came to you in October of last year for a bond inducement approval. So the project did submit an application for private activity bonds. Just as recently as last Friday, August 1st, we received the reservation. And now the developer would like to move forward in the next step, which is approval from the board to begin negotiations of a memorandum of understanding, as well as becoming the general partner in the deal. The resolution is non-binding in that we still have to come back to the board one last time to make sure that you approve our final deal terms and the financing that has been put in place. The developer we're working with is Union Development Holdings, LLC, doing business as the Annex Group. There we go. Just as a reminder, Central at Commerce is located near 1231 East Commerce Street. It's actually on the corner of Commerce and Cherry. So it's in walking distance to St. Paul Square, the Alamo Dome, as well as the Robert Thompson Transit Center. So a very good location. It sits within City Council District 2 and is serviced by San Antonio ISD. We're proposing 279 units. With a range of AMIs from 30% to 70%. Unit mix is 1, 2s, and 3-bedroom units. And again, 4% tax credits and bonds. Total development cost is approximately $91.2 million. And just as a reminder, in addition to providing affordable housing or homes for our residents, any of the business terms that provide revenue back to the agency goes towards the purpose of providing more 50% and below AMI units, funding our budget gaps for affordable housing for other projects, preserving and upgrading existing public housing, acquisition of existing properties, supportive services, so resident services for our residents, towards the emergency rental assistance program, as well as providing reserves for the agency to make sure that we're always adequately capitalized. Any questions?
Is that property right there where the arcade group used to be?
I'm not familiar with the arcade group, but it's corner of
Here.
Cherry and Commerce.
Yeah, but there's two fields. There's one on the north side and one on the
It's
south
the one on the
side.
north side.
Where the grass is, next to the haunted house thing?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
No other questions? I'll take a motion for item number 9.
I move for approval for Resolution 6755.
Do a first, do a second?
Second.
Do a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? It's approved.
Thank you.
You're still up. Consideration approval regarding Resolution 6798, the Amara Amendment. Go ahead, Lori.
So this one should be familiar to you. We just brought it to you last month. This is the one that we proposed 2 options: to either partner with a developer for the acquisition of the property or to acquire on our own as an agency. Your approval allowed us to move forward to acquire it and wholly own it. And so in our negotiations or in our conversations with our attorneys and with our internal leadership group, it was decided that our best option would be to, instead of having the ownership entity under the same entity that provides for the bonds, that issues the bonds, we're going to create an LLC whose sole member would be San Antonio Housing Facility Corp. So we needed to add that to this project structure. The other thing we wanted to make sure that y'all were completely aware of is that while this property is a PFC structure, so it'll have 50% at market, 50% at 80% and below. So we plan to do 40 at 80 and 10 at 60% of AMI. So 30% of that, 50% of the funds that we'll utilize will come from MTW in order to support the workforce housing. So we wanted to make sure that you're aware of that. And then the other portion, the debt, would be issued from the organization based on their S&P rating, our S&P rating. And so we'll be utilizing essential function bonds for that. Just as a reminder, Amara Apartments is located off of I-10 by Camp Bullish Road. It's by the Rim in La Cantera, Six Flags Fiesta, Texas. It's within 10 miles of UTSA main campus. Tons of retail and hospitality in that particular area. Great need for workforce housing. We discovered that there are only 3 of our vouchers in this area. So the Lind group brought this to us. It sits within City Council District 8. It's serviced by Northside ISD. Has a total number of units of 308. And again, unit mix 50% at market, 40 at 80, and 10 at 60. Total acquisition is approximately $56 million. And then once again, any proceeds that are received or revenue that's received from this project is going to be made available to the agency to go towards those things we just mentioned previously.
This is the one behind the Ferrari dealership, right?
Yes, sir.
And it's an existing
It's an existing property.
already.
4-story elevators in each building, so extremely accessible. Any questions?
I'll move over here. Are there any questions? Any other questions, I should say? With none, I'll take a motion on Resolution 6798.
So moved.
Second.
A first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It carries.
Thank you.
All righty. Item number 10 is approved. We'll move to item number 11, consideration approval regarding Resolution 6801 and memo of understanding with the Bexar County Housing Authority interlocal agreement. Jose Mascoro, Chief Operating Officer.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. The next slide. In existence today is a cooperative agreement that's been in place since October 9th, 2024. This agreement between us and the Bexar County Housing Authority was put into place to allow the Housing Authority of Bexar County to improve and redevelop 4 properties that are under their ownership structure that are within the city limits. Over the years, these properties were originally in the county, but as the city annexed, certain parts of the land became within the city limits. So at the time, in order for us to allow them to do the work, an MOU or a cooperative agreement was put into place. Since then, earlier this year, the Housing Authority of Bexar County came to us asking for permission to incorporate VASH, PBV, or project-based vouchers in a project that was being developed with the Housing Trust, but was within the city limits. To allow that, they needed to come to us to get permission because they're by the agreement, we're not allowed to operate within our jurisdiction. So after that had moved forward, they've developed the project. We've, in the spirit of collaboration, have come back to the existing agreement and are recommending some amendments so that in the future, if certain items come up, they won't have to come to us for permission every time or us to them. So as part of this amended and restated agreement, it allows both agencies to implement vouchers within each other's area of operation. And keep in mind, those vouchers include project-based vouchers. They could be the VASH vouchers, even housing choice vouchers and supportive housing vouchers. So it includes all of those. Now, the one caveat, or maybe not caveat, one condition that's still in place in the agreement, they are still disallowed to engage in any type of new construction where they are in the ownership structure. So they cannot be part of a new development deal within the city limits if they are part of the ownership structure. Now, if they want to contribute vouchers to that project, that's fine, but they are not a beneficiary of that development. So I want to make sure that is clear. It still remains in place.
We're not creating a competitor.
I'm sorry?
We're not creating a competitor.
Right. We're not creating a competitor in that sense.
Okay.
The other piece to keep in mind as we're asking you to approve this resolution and restated agreement is that this still needs, obviously, the Housing Authority of Bexar County to approve, Bexar County Commissioners to approve, as well as the City Council for the City of San Antonio to approve this agreement based on local statutory arrangements that are in place governing the operations of both agencies. So with that, we're asking you all to approve this resolution.
Any comments or questions? With none, I'll take a motion on item number 11, Resolution 6801.
So moved.
We have a first. Do we have a second?
Second.
A first and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It's approved. With that, we'll bounce back to the citizens to be heard section, item number 2. Do we have any citizens?
We have 2 citizens signed up to speak. Our first citizen is Adeline Martinez.
Hello, I'm Adeline Martinez, and this is Christina Lindsay. We're residents of the Alhambra Apartments on New Laredo Highway. We come here with signed petitions from the residents regarding a lot that is going on there that we are needing help with. We're coming to the board for help because we have already talked to management several times, which there's a big turnover there with management. We have even had Saha come out and have a meeting with us, and nothing was accomplished. So we're supposed to have monthly meetings. That went out the door because the manager went out the door. So things changed too fast, and nobody knows what anybody's doing. So I, for the past 10 years, have been firsthand witnessed of the lack of maintenance and restrictive rules affected, and it has affected the enjoyment of our community and all of the people that live there. They're elderly and disabled people. So in the last, now just recently in the last few weeks, they have gone all the way down to closing our pool facilities. All our amenities are locked down. We're like in prison there. Everything's on lockdown except the office hours, which is Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. So people cannot use their washers and dryers on a Saturday or a Sunday or an evening. There's people that still work there. Not everybody's on vouchers. The exercise facility is locked down Monday to Friday. That's the same hours for the community room that used to be open so that everybody could go in and watch a movie or do whatever. Nope, it's not even open Monday to Friday. It's open whenever they want to have a meeting, and that's it. Or whenever somebody's coming in with insurance or whatever. And the pool hours are Monday through Friday from 8 to 4:30. We took a petition. We got a petition and took many. We have 61 signatures right now. And that's because some of the people didn't sign because they were afraid of retaliation. And some we didn't catch at home. But we did this all in one day. Everybody that we went to had something to say about maintenance. There's a man there. And a lot of these residents have been there since they opened. 17, 18, 15 years. I've been there 10. She's been there 4 years. Her air condition has not worked for a whole year. She's got a window unit and a 2-bedroom. We ran into another resident who had the same thing, window unit in a 2-bedroom. One resident said, I've been here since the day they opened. And I said, yeah, a lot of people have. He says, no, he's in a wheelchair. He says, no, I was the first one here. There was building construction. I was literally, and there's mold in the vents because of the air condition. Yes.
Our next speaker is Christina Lindsay.
Yes. Well, I can continue to speak because we're having problems with our dumpsters. They're removed. They took away dumpsters to where we have to walk a long period of time to even get it out. When I have pelvic problems, it's hard for me to lift. And my shelf had failed on me as well, which has caused me injuries. And there's other people that's suffering from infections and allergy problems there due to the mold in the ventilation vents. And we're just having problems using our Beulah lights in the pool. We're not able to use it on the weekends. They totally took that away.
There's a lady that has her tile that lifted up. It's loose, and she could fall down and have an accident.
Yeah, and they're just like, there's no ramps for the people with wheelchairs. They're not able to go up to the door to where they can get up. They have to go a long way to get into the elevator. And our elevator keeps breaking all the time, and it keeps having issues to where we can't even use that on several days. We have to walk all around the building in order to get upstairs or to carry our groceries. It's just been really complicated to live with them and to get anything done.
And there's not a gate to go in. Not everybody has a card. So when the gates are closed, they have to find another way in. It used to be that for a short while we had security on the doors. We don't. We have asked if we can have a card to get in 24/7 in the facility, something to let us in, so that because they're concerned with vandalism and all of that stuff. And I said, put cameras up, simple cameras. Let us have a card to go into these facilities. So when you're closed, we can still access it. They have one on the pool, but they put a chain on it. So the pool was filthy. I have pictures. was green, like the river. They just recently cleaned it because I reported it to the health department. And then they locked it down, so we can't use it. So it's just many things.
And then we've been out of money as well as tenants there. We are residents, and our car gets towed, and we'll be out of expense, and our cars are registered in the office, and we have to pay like $300 just to get our car back.
And there's no way to get into the gates if you don't have a car. So they open the gates, and those gates have broken them many times, and they're complaining. The residents are squeezing through there. Well, can you make a door so that they can walk in? They don't have cars, you know, and there's just management is not doing their job. That's the bottom line. There's a big turnover. We need help. We need somebody to listen. The residents basically signed and want to talk to the board members. They would like for the board members to go to the community there so that they can express many, many things that they expressed to us while we were going into the, everybody had complaints to me. I couldn't list them all. So I said, let me see if I can get somebody to come and talk to us. Somebody other than even Saha, because they didn't resolve anything the last time. So I'm like, where else can we go? Let's go to the board members. Maybe they can help us.
Thank you for listening.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. And we have documents that we'd like to present.
You can provide them to staff,
Yes.
and then they'll provide it to
We'll
us.
do that. Thank you.
We'll move to item number 12, discussion items, update regarding the, I want to say CCAAS, is it CCAS? CCAS, thank you. Phase 1 implementation. Mira Roeder, Executive Vice President, you're up.
So, good afternoon, Commissioners. Originally, Joanna was supposed to present this item, but she's on PTO, so I will be presenting it. We didn't want to delay you all being informed of our update and what's going on with our call center. So, we initially started this CCAS update back in December, and we wanted you to know what we've been doing since December through July. The phase 1 has been completed. It was completed on schedule, and that was the core build. So what we did was we built the contact center. We started monitoring voicemails. We started doing a disposition collection, callback and queue, skill management with staff, and then also live monitoring and reporting. So that all got built on schedule. And then phase 2 has been partially completed. We're expecting to complete it and launch it in the next month or so. So phase 2, what we are doing is an after-service customer survey. That is completed, and that is being done right now. Doing live SMS messaging. That hasn't been deployed yet, but that is in progress. A chat box, which has been started. The live web-based messages, that's been completed, but we haven't deployed that yet. And then also the WhatsApp implementation, which is in progress. So before the core build, we were having an average of about 22,000 inbound calls that were being reported. And these were calls being reported. We were doing manual reporting of those. And there were only about 2 to 3 CSRs dedicated to taking calls. And the remainder of the staff, our CSR staff at that time, were supporting lobby visits and inquiries. And so really, we were only able to answer about 2,500 calls a month. Okay, and we were tracking those manually on a Google form. Now, our call volume really has continued to remain very high. We're at about 21,000, and that was for the month of July. And then, but however, we were able to increase the number of CSRs that were taking calls. We still have some staff that support the lobby visits and other general inquiries. But now we're able to answer more than double of the calls we were previously, but we're also able to do outbound calls. So we weren't able to do outbound calls before. And so these calls are being logged by disposition code. And so here's just a graph of the calls answered per month before CCAS and then after the CCAS implementation. And then the fact that we are now able to do outbound calls as well. And then the number of CSRs that are taking the calls from before and then what we're able to do now. So we have had a few challenges when it came to implementation. The first one, as you all remember, I'm sure, that there was a less than desirable customer service experience. You know, we were getting complaints. But part of that was related to a very large attrition and CSR turnover. We were just churning our CSR staff. Our call volumes are very high, and they just felt very overwhelming, especially to our limited CSR staff at the time. And then we didn't have any type of tracking mechanism to provide feedback. So we can actually give really good feedback to our staff. And then there was no callback or voicemail automation at that time. And then also no digital engagement options to help drive efficiencies and to really manage where the staff were able to handle the calls. So our current improvements, we have a multi-language self-service IVR and callback in queue, where someone can ask to receive a callback and they will stay in line. So it's similar to what other organizations have as far as callbacks. Voicemail routing, and then we also initiated a feedback management survey that we just started, and then implementing real-time dashboards and disposition codes and reporting. And so this type of reporting is going to allow us to provide better training and understanding needs so that we can deploy our staff better. So this is an example of some of the reporting we're getting. And at a future meeting, maybe in the next couple of months or so, we can have staff provide another update to show some of the monitoring and some of the dashboards and reports and where we're standing. Right here is a supervisor dashboard. And the supervisor dashboard helps supervisors to monitor what's going on with their staff. Are they on calls? Are they saying they're not available because they're helping staff in the lobby or helping with the lobby traffic? So that's helpful to our supervisors. And then this is a feedback management console. So right now, with the limited feedback we've gotten, we have been, the individuals that have provided surveys after the call have, in 96% at that time had indicated that their issue was resolved. 4% said no, the issue wasn't resolved. And then 96% said that, or 98% said they were happy with their representatives' ability to be able to assist them, and then 4% said that they were not. So so far, those are really good numbers. We're hoping to continue that, of course, continue to stay with a very high success rate. And what's next? We're looking forward to our phase 2 completion. To include our omni-channels and that will complement our current service and improve our mission. And so what we're planning to do, those things that we are in progress with, the SMS, the chats, the WhatsApp, the chat bots, all of those things, we're looking forward to implementing them. And then also utilizing our dual-facing large language model to help to respond to resident and internal staff queries.
How many respondents are part of that the percentages of people that had their
the 96% and the 98%? I don't have that. I can get that back to you, but it wasn't a whole lot because that was in June. And so when we were getting the information, we had really just launched in June.
So that doesn't really represent the majority of our residents then?
that at this point does not capture all of the feedback we've gotten, which is why we will be coming back in the next couple of months to provide you some more information so that we have some more data to be able to present to you to let you know how things have been going over a longer time period.
And the WhatsApp program, are residents or people needing to contact the agency going to be able to chat through WhatsApp with staff members, or what's happening with that?
So that's still in progress. I can't tell you exactly what's going to happen with it, but the idea is that residents with WhatsApp, because they don't have to pay for the use of the WhatsApp, they'd be able to contact the organization and communicate with either electronic being or a human being to ask questions and get information. So that's still in progress, because one of the things we're trying to do as much as possible is when a resident contacts us, if it's something that we can give them information for very quickly, let's say, I just want to know, am I still on the waiting list? That doesn't necessarily have to have a human being answer that question. So as many of those types of questions we can have handled by an electronic means, we can then save our humans for answering questions that are the more technical ones and the ones that have to get, more, necessarily personal.
Will part of this communication apparatus deal with AI?
We are implementing AI as part of this and as part of the large language model. And so part of what we're using with AI is we are basically feeding our admin plan and our ACOP into basically a platform so that this AI, this chat box that we're going to implement, knows what's in both of our plans. So if somebody calls and asks about something that's in one of our plans, they have that information, that chat box does, and they're able to give that information without having a human trying to flip through the admin plan to find it. So we are implementing AI pretty much in that type of format.
Now, the CSRs, do they have access to all the information or that they may be looking for, or do they have to be transferred to a department to get the assistance?
So Aaron is going to answer that one since he's over the CSRs.
Thank you so much. It's wonderful to see all commissioners. Thank you so much for being very supportive of what we've been trying with some of these upgrades for our customer service team. I have just the highest remarks for how Laura and her assistant supervisors manage how our CSRs are trained. So they go through 2 to 3 months of training where they essentially go through presentations, FAQs. They watch training modules on how to assist with general questions as folks kind of have tenure and understand more about some of our housing programs. They start to kind of triage on who is able to answer some more complex or technical questions. For the most part, Laura's team is not going to transfer a question unless they are not able to make a decision, or if it needs to be elevated to an assistant director, or a manager. Most of the time, they're able to try to resolve those questions as soon as possible.
And I'm really hoping that this is going to make it easier for residents to be able to contact this agency and get answers, because one of the biggest frustrations of people, especially our older residents, and also people that don't understand the usage and the prompts to be able to get through. I get frustrated when I call companies and for this, push that. And 10 minutes later, you're still trying to get in touch with somebody, So I think, like if they can push something and they get a person or the department and not a CSR that may not be able to answer the questions, to make it easier for people to be able to get the information they need. I hear it even before I was on this board. I used to hear it, we can never get through. And I've called here before, and have not been able to get through at times by going through the main switchboard. So I appreciate what you all are doing, and all of this sounds great. I'm hoping that in the end product, it will make it easier for anyone that's trying to reach this agency, being residents or contractors or developers or anybody that's trying to talk to us. But appreciate the work that you're doing.
Absolutely. I would like to note, and I believe it's included in our operations report, in fiscal year 23-24, we had just about 226,000 just general inquiries. For fiscal year 24-25, we, I think, finished at 206. That was about 19,000 general inquiries less. Where we saw the decrease was in lobby visits and emails. And I think that is directly attributed to the upgrades to Ring Central, specifically callback. I think the way that I see it is that folks used to traditionally call first. Then when they didn't hear a response, they would email. And then when they didn't hear a response, they would come to the lobby. So my indication is that we're seeing less emails and less lobby visits and more phone calls because people now understand or are getting a call back in a reasonable and timely manner. So they're more comfortable calling us and feel confident that they're getting a response sooner rather than later. I think although we have a small sample size of the feedback survey because it's just been in implementation for about a month, what we're seeing is all of the folks who get their phone calls answered or receive a call back are getting their issues or inquiries resolved at a high percentage rate. They just want more of a timely response because we still average a couple-day response rate, but they are getting callbacks, which is better than where we were in the last few fiscal years.
I think maybe a good idea to get these surveys out is possibly use resident councils and send the surveys to them and let them do it during a meeting, and maybe, a manager there at the property or whatever could talk about what the survey is about and get those answers and have them turned in. That way you would get a better response.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I just wanted to echo Aaron's comments about our customer service team. They're stellar. I mean, to have to deal with thousands of calls every week, they're pretty incredible. And the presentation that Muriel provided is a good start from a technological perspective, but it's just a start. Our technology is so outdated. We're about 5 to 8 years behind the rest of the industry. And so for me, it's not enough. It's not satisfactory from my perspective. We need to move quicker. We need to move faster. So we've had conversations about doing everything from having a resident portal. Again, other major housing authorities around the country have that. That's something we have not started. And I've asked staff, let's get going on this. Because if residents have access to their information, whether their update, their financials, their address, they can access it on their own time and not having to call. So the goal here is to mitigate that phone call and, hence the CCAS system that we just presented. So it's about mitigation, right? Giving residents the power to access their information. Also, relooking at the internal mechanics of this organization, right? I think to put the pressure of resident information into the hands of 4 to 8 resident professionals, that's not realistic, right? And so we're having to reimagine our culture internally. We're in the process of a major reorganization to make sure that this organization's operating in the 21st century way. And so that's underway now. And there's going to be major changes on the horizon to make sure that the residents' experience is dependent on many departments, and there's great inter-department collaboration, which there isn't typically. So that's something that's top of mind and we're working on. And then finally, things like having a live agent online, which is, again, other housing authorities have that extra tool. So all this to say, this is a great start. We're making inroads here, but it's not enough. I want us to have top tier, as professional customer service as we can provide. And so we need a little more time to catch up, but we're on our way.
Thank you. That was actually my questions were, I appreciate the start, it's great to get started, but what do we hear typically when they complain, we can't get through to you, we can't, and we understand it. That's a heavy lift for 4 to 8 people. But we're still answering at the 25% level. When will we see, and I imagine it's the next time, because y'all talked about you're going to come with more data, but when will what does success look like, and how is it going to be measured, and more importantly, how long will it take? I guess that's going to be the next steps. And I imagine, me or any one of the board members here might be asking, taking off on it. And again, the reality is 21,000 calls on average a day is huge, but it doesn't appear to go away. It dropped by 1,000. So we'll figure out. I mean, you tell us where we can support it. We're happy to see where it's going. Satisfaction is good. I know the vice chair commented. Okay, is that it's better than those numbers being lower, and so I'm at least those that are being touched are happy with the service that they're getting. Let's keep that up, and then we'll want to know how long will it take to implement the next steps. So.
And we'll get back to you.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know, I recognize that's the next time, but
okay,
it was good. So,
all right. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, I should have asked any other questions. Nope. Okay. We'll go to the next item. We're going to we'll take a recess from the regular board meeting, and then we'll go to open up the San Antonio Housing Facility Corporation. So, do we need to note the time? No? Yeah. Okay. We'll recess the regular board meeting at 2:14. We're going to open up the San Antonio Housing Facility Corporation meeting. Let's do the roll call now that it's changed since the last time we did one.
Roll call for the San Antonio Housing Facility Corporation meeting. President Gabriel Lopez.
Here.
Vice President Gilbert Casillas.
Here.
Barbara Uncoma-Burford.
Here.
Dalia Contreras. Estrella Garcia Diaz.
Here.
Janet Garcia.
Here.
Leila Powell. All other officers are still present. Thank you.
Okay, with that, I'll call the meeting to order. The board of directors, I don't have to read that. We'll call it to order 2:14. Any citizens to be heard for this meeting?
There are no citizens signed up to speak.
That being said, we've got the approval of the July 15th San Antonio HSC meeting minutes. Do I have a motion or comments?
Motion to approve the July 15 minutes.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Minutes are approved. We have consent items number 4 for resolution 25 FAC-04-03 and 25 FAC-0801. If there's no questions or comments, I will take a motion for those two.
Motion to approve consent items 4 and 5.
We have a first and a second to approve items 4 and 5. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? With that, we will adjourn the meeting at 2:15. Now we'll return to the regular board meeting. And Counselor?
Did we get through the president's reports? Yes?
Oh, no. Sorry. Yeah, I was just saying. Yeah, let's go. Sorry, I went right past it. Yep, 13, President's Report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We hosted another insightful Housing Power Hour Plus last month, featuring third-party development partners and how they play an important role in advancing our real estate initiatives and expanding the supply of affordable housing. We discussed how strategic collaborations enhance communities, impact thousands of lives, and create impact on the people we serve. These are public discussions, and they're really gaining traction and allowing for an open, transparent discussion on these very complicated affordable housing partnerships and transactions. So again, we've had great participation from city, our housing partners, from local, state, even federal elected offices participating in this. In these discussions. So I just wanted to thank the Public Affairs team and Development Services team for this last discussion, which was very successful. I also wanted to highlight some great residents who have taken big steps toward embracing their new challenges. First, residents from Marie McGuire and Terrytown departments recently graduated from a multi-week digital literacy course, which graduation's being held last month. The courses were conducted by our partners, including Digital Lift, formerly the Community Tech Network, as well as AARP's Older Adults Technology Services in collaboration with our Connect Home SA program. Each graduate received a certificate and a free digital device during their respective ceremonies. I just wanted to thank the Connect Home and community partners for equipping our residents with the technology tools to navigate this digital world that they are now facing. And I, of course, wanted to congratulate all of our graduates. I'd like to also recognize an inspiring individual who is taking steps to build stability for her family. Gardenia Guerra is a Casiano. There we go. Casiano Homes resident and a family self-sufficiency participant. 6 years ago, Gardenia started on a pathway to economic independence as a public housing participant. She is now pursuing homeownership through our FSS program. She aspires to be a licensed vocational nurse and eventually as a registered nurse. Gardenia's success is inspiring turnaround after struggling with homelessness before moving to Casiano. She's a positive example of strength and determination for our residents. I also wanted to quickly recap a few events that we've had the last few weeks. Our residents at Lincoln Heights had an opportunity to participate in a resume writing workshop hosted by Goodwill San Antonio on July 16th. Residents sharpened their resume skills, getting them a step closer to excellent first impressions for employers and elevated career success. I wanted to thank, once again, our Community Development Initiatives Department for coordinating this workshop and to our partners at Goodwill. I also want to extend a warm thank you to our friends from Avenida Guadalupe Association and Wood Forest National Bank and Tito Cantu's Health Choice for their generous donation of watermelons to our residents at the Alazan Apache Courts. It's summertime, so it was perfect given the temperatures. I'm also pleased to share that in late June, the Alamo Colleges conducted a highly beneficial information session for our residents at Alazan Apache. This session was focused on jobs training and education programs provided by San Antonio Ready to Work, and it was well attended by our public housing and housing choice voucher residents. Following the session, residents were eager to start taking steps to elevating their career. They spent time completing online career assessments, and the City of San Antonio and Alamo Colleges helped set up a Work in Texas account, and they learned information on our FSS program and resident scholarships. Recently, I had the great pleasure to visit with our Fair Avenue apartment residents during our most recent Coffee with the CEO. Aside from really enjoying the meeting our residents, these sessions are really helpful in getting a better understanding of what they're facing on the ground there at their property. So we had a great question and answer session, and I invite you to future sessions or Coffees with the CEO in the coming weeks. And finally, on August 29th, we're hosting our 6th installment of the Housing Power Hour Plus, focusing on the future of public housing and community development. As a reminder, these are open to the public. The goal here is to have an open forum, a transparent discussion on what's happening here at the Housing Authority. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you. Any comments for the CEO?
I just want to say your Power Hour Plus sessions are awesome. I mean, there's a wealth of information that goes out there and the staff that participates with it and letting the general public know. I was able to attend one and just the mixture of individuals from within the city that attend these. You have people from the city of San Antonio, from Bexar County, from different nonprofit organizations that are learning what we do and also how they can work with us. And I got a lot out of the one that I attended. I wanted to attend the last one, but wasn't able to. But hopefully I'll be able to attend the next one. But I just want to congratulate you, Mr. President, and the staff for putting this together. I think it's really valuable to our community here in San Antonio. And I see you've moved to the other room, so you're needing more room because more people are attending. So kudos and congratulations to you all.
Yes, sir. The board will be convening in closed session to consult with its attorney under Section 551 of the Texas Government Code to receive a semi-annual litigation update. The time is now 2:22.
The time is 3:14 p.m. and the board has returned to Opportunity Homes regular board meeting.
Okay. There's no action from closed session, so I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
We have a first and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Meeting adjourned.